Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am so excited to have you in the kitchen today. We're going to be making, Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am so excited you're here. We are going to make black bean and spinach enchiladas today, but it's such a great recipe. You can use up any vegetables that you have in your fridge. You can use sweet potatoes, zucchini, corn, whatever veggies you have, you can throw it in the tortilla, put the sauce on it, put it in the oven, and you're good to go. Alright guys, so before we get started, I want to remind you that you can find this recipe as well as so many other healthy recipes by following me on Instagram and Facebook by following me at FITLIVING Eats or going to my website at FITLIVINGEats.com. And subscribe to the channel and you can get updates on all of the new recipes I'll be posting each week. Okay, so let's get started. So with every recipe I post, I try and use 7 ingredients or less. I want to make it as simple and easy for you guys to follow along. So in this recipe, we are only going to be using 7 ingredients. So I have tortillas made out of brown rice, which are great because they're gluten-free. You could also use whole wheat tortillas or corn tortillas, whichever ones you like best. And then we have some spinach, black beans, and corn back here in the back hiding that we're going to be filling the enchiladas with. And then I have some cilantro for extra flavoring, cumin, and some salsa verde sauce that we're going to be using for the enchilada sauce. Now, you could just use the salsa verde and pour a little bit on the bottom and a little bit on the top as your sauce. But I like to kick it up a notch and make something special out of it, so I make a roux. And the way you do that is by sauteing olive oil, adding some flour, and then whisking in the salsa and vegetable broth. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that now, so follow along with me and we're going to go back to my stove. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is wilt the spinach for the filling. So I'm just going to add about 2 handfuls of spinach in a pan over medium heat and let that wilt down while I make the sauce. For the sauce, I'm going to drizzle about a tablespoon of olive oil in a pan over medium heat to get warm enough to cook the flour for the roux. Once heated, I'm going to add a tablespoon of flour. I have chickpea flour because I had to get some for another recipe and I have a bunch on hand, but you could use any flour you have in your pantry. Anything will work. Whisk continuously for about a minute to prevent the flour from burning while it's cooking. Next, I'm going to add a cup of vegetable stock to the pan and keep whisking to let it combine together. Then you're going to want to bring it to a simmer to let it get more thick and create a nice creamy sauce. The next thing I'm going to do is add the jar of salsa verde sauce. You can use any kind that you can find at the store. I like to look for things that I can pronounce the ingredients, so that's the most important thing you're looking for. So we're going to add that in and whisk it together and then bring it to a simmer for maybe 5 to 8 minutes to let it continue to thicken, and then we will assemble the enchiladas. Alright, so the sauce is done. So while we make the filling, don't forget, preheat your oven at 375 degrees. That's what we're going to need it at to finish the enchiladas. So for the filling, I have 1 can of black beans that I've just drained and rinsed. So we're going to add that to the bowl. And then I also have a can of corn. If you don't like corn, you don't have to add it in there. You could double up on the beans or just leave it out. You won't have quite as much filling, but you can make it your own any way you want to. So we're going to add the corn in here. And then I have the spinach that we wilted earlier at the stove. Going to add that in there. We have a tablespoon of cumin. If you wanted to add paprika or cayenne pepper to make it a little bit spicier, you could do that as well. So we're just gonna dump that in there. And then I love cilantro. I know that some people don't like cilantro. It can taste kind of like soap. I think they're crazy. I think cilantro is amazing, but you could also leave this out if you didn't want the cilantro in there. But I'm gonna add that in there, and then also just a pinch of salt. All right. Then we're gonna mix that up in the bowl and get it nice and combined. I did an enchilada recipe with kale and mushrooms and it was delicious. So again, you can use whatever filling you want. Okay, so filling is done. Now let's get ready to fill the tortillas. So I have my tortillas, I have my baking dish. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is pour a little bit of sauce on the bottom. It helps keep the enchiladas moist and keeps them from sticking in the pan. So we're gonna add a little bit on the bottom, just enough to coat the bottom. Okay, time to fill the tortillas. And when you're filling the tortillas, you want to make sure that you're putting it seam side down. And you'll notice my tortillas are cracking a little bit, but they've also been sitting out for about 45 minutes or so. When you're making it at home and you're not filming a video, you'll keep them in the fridge until you're ready to stuff them, and they should stay together that way. So I had enough filling for about 6 tortillas, but depending on the size of your tortillas, you may get more enchiladas. You may not put as much filling as I do. But even if they are cracking, it's a casserole, so it's still gonna be just as delicious, even if it doesn't look super pretty. So we're gonna add the rest of the sauce on top. And then I'm just gonna pop these in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes to get them baked and thoroughly cooked, and then it's time to eat. So after we've taken the enchiladas out of the oven and they've cooled for a few minutes, we can add some yummy toppings. I've added avocado slices, sliced green onions, and cilantro. If you have a little extra sauce, you can add that on the top, but as you can see, I've already used all of the sauce. And then it's time to eat. I hope you enjoyed this recipe for black bean and spinach enchiladas. Don't forget, if you make this recipe, tag me on Instagram and Facebook at FITLIVINGEats, #FITLIVINGEats. And I will see you next week. Bye, thanks for watching.